Hey, what's up, guys? It's Pat, and I'm doing another money-making guide for World of Warcraft. And this one's going to be a higher level one. And what it is it's going to be the raid Battle for Mount Hyjal and soloing it. And that's really going to yield you quite a bit of money, and that's why I'm going to do it. So basically, guys, you're going to get about 1,300 gold just off the boss drops here. Although this is quite a hard run solo. Not all classes are going to be able to do it. As a Death Knight and Bloodspec, very easy run. Most of the bosses are fairly easy, except for the first one, which I'm going to show you specifically how to do that one. So basically, guys, what's going to happen is a bunch of waves of monsters are going to come, and after you beat all those, then the bosses will spawn. This is going to happen multiple times in the place. There's going to be about 8 waves of monsters. As you can see at the top of the screen, it says current wave and the amount of enemies that are coming. And I'm not exactly sure which classes can take this. I would think any tankable classes can take this. I would assume hunters, death knights, probably in any spec, to be honest. What you need is a little bit of healing power, and you should be pretty good. You just need the ability to be able to heal yourself a little bit. And the first boss is really the one that's going to be rough, so that's where you're going to really need a little bit of healing from. You're going to want to make sure you loot every single monster. You're going to get a good amount of gold as well from this, and a bunch of green drops. And always make sure that you have someone disenchant them, so you don't have to pay for someone to do that. Usually you could find someone in your guild who will do it for free. He'll disenchant everything for you if you're not an enchanter, and that's really going to yield you more money. It's important to do that, and then to sell the stuff after. Another thing, you're going to get a little bit more money here, guys, if you're a miner. There are some mining nodes in this place, so it will yield you probably another 100 gold if you're a miner. Selling the greens, monster drops, boss drops, you'll get at least 2,000 gold in about an hour run. How quick the run is, hard to say, based on your DPS, of course, of how quick you're downing the monsters. And some classes, I would say if your spec is like a healer or something, you're probably not going to be able to do this place. You're going to take so much abuse, it's going to be ridiculous compared to downing things. You're going to need decent gear. If you're like a tank class or something, or a hunter, you're probably not going to need as good a gear, obviously. But you're going to need to be level capped for this place. And there are tons of different raids like this that you can solo for huge cash like this, because you could really get 2,500 gold or so with some luck in about an hour, which isn't bad. I mean, it's comparable to farming some of the best farmable stuff, but it's not as boring, and that's one of the reasons to do this. Also, you can get some nice transmog stuff as well. Nothing wrong with that. Get a couple transmog stuff and get a good chunk of money. You can only do it once a week anyway, so it's like a lot less boring. Alright, so basically, after all these waves come, the first boss will come, and I'll show you guys that fight. That's really the only one that needs to be shown. The other fights are pretty much just DPS them down. Except for the last boss. It's not really worth showing, but someone's going to give you a special thing in your inventory, and you're going to need to use it when he throws you up in the air, just so you don't take fall damage and die from fall damage. That's just the last boss. It's really simple. You have plenty of time to hit it as you're coming down, so you can't really mess it up very easily, and if you do, then you'll definitely know what you did wrong and get it the second time. The first boss is just a little more difficult because it has a really powerful move. It does a really surprising amount of damage. You really just have to avoid it, and it makes the fight pretty easy. Another thing worth mentioning is you do get the Scale of Sands reputation while you're here, which is part of an achievement if you become exalted with them. Another achievement, if you work on this every week, get a bunch of gold, and you go for achievement at the same time. Really not too bad. So guys, after you complete the 8 waves, it will say Invading Enemies 1, and this is when the boss is going to come. This is the first boss, and it's the hardest boss, so that's probably a good thing to get the hardest one over with. And let me tell you what the problem is with fighting this boss. It is fairly easy, although he's going to freeze you a bunch of times, which is kind of annoying. But the move you really have to watch out for is his Death and Decay. He's kind of like, Death Knight. I mean, you see those guys in the Death Knight area. So yeah, Death and Decay, and his Death and Decay is a much bigger radius than yours is. So you really have to run away pretty far. So that's when you're going to want to use any cooldowns you may have to protect you from magic damage. Clearly, as a Death Knight, Anti-Magic Shell works wonders in this situation, because sometimes he's going to freeze you. I'm frozen right now. I can't really get away too easily, so I threw out my shell. I'm not taking any damage, but yeah, you need to get away pretty far, so there is plenty of room to run, so this is probably far enough. And just wait till it's over. He's going to do this 5 or 6 times, and that's really the only way you're going to die in this fight. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward, other than some annoyances. And guys, if you have trouble with these fights, depending on your class, as I said before, it may be rough. Just bring a friend with you. I mean, it's still a decent amount of money anyway. Plus, this is a pretty fun place, I would say. I mean, you don't really get a chance to run these places too often anymore, so it is nice to do them. But yeah, I'll show you guys one more Death and Decay from him. I mean, usually you're not going to get frozen like I did. That was like worst case scenario, and that's really where you're going to have to use any cooldowns. He did it again, but you're going to see I'm going to be taking some abuse this time. As you can see, I took a ridiculous amount of damage, really. Almost 100,000 hit points and damage, which is pretty bad, I have to say. I didn't throw up my... I don't know if this was on cooldown, but that's just showing how much damage you really do take from it. So you do want to heal yourself up pretty quickly after a situation like that. So use your cooldowns, get your health back up. I mean, it is possible for a wipe for anyone, really, on this fight. If you make a mistake, but you'll get used to it. And you'll just make sure to use your cooldowns when you can. Because he does seem to freeze you sometimes when that happens. And that's really the only bad thing that could happen in the fight. Alright guys, so when they're dead, you're going to get a good amount of gold. 250 gold right there. Look at these. 13 gold, 2 gold, gold and a half. Let's see what they look like out of curiosity. So yeah, they're not bad, the transmog stuff here. If you like transmog, I'm not too big into it, so it's just extra gold for me. But yeah, you do get a nice amount of stuff. Each boss can drop 250, I believe, in the last boss. I want to say 300 it drops. So yeah, you're going to get 1,300 gold from that. And I'm going to tell you guys how I get my calculations for the gold. I'm going to get 1,300 off the boss drops. You're probably going to get maybe another 200 off regular drops. That's about 1,500 off the green stuff and purple stuff you're going to sell. Well, the green stuff you're going to disenchant and then sell, and the purple stuff, that's probably another 500 gold at least. So that's about 2,000. Another 100 if you're a miner. So you're going to get about 2,000-ish gold, guys. Anyways, guys, there are more gold guides that I do have, so check them out, and feel free to comment, rate, and subscribe. See you guys later.